Swear to God, you got me Thursday. Need my mom to give me first aid. Celebrate it like a birthday. You make me want it in the worst way. Make me want it in the worst way. You got the bang with the boogie, and now I'm playing hooky. From whenever work it out, should be cooking, girl. You got the cookie. And I ain't even smoking, got me focused on your pleasure. Hop in the boat and get the stroking. You're my style, you're my vibe, we're evenly yoked. Every time I see you smile, I'm doing the most. I want my bread in your oven, let's make us some toast. Skin to skin close. Now baby, I don't give a damn about your sign, cause the stars are all aligned. We can do whatever you want, we can take our time. I just want you to know, good God, beautiful, beautiful, say you beautiful. And I just want to do some things to you, make your mind and your body shake, move you like an earthquake, whatever it takes. Cause you've grown and I've grown, the kid's gone, so let's set the mood. I don't need no darling, just that's on me. I set the mood right off, baby, yes indeed. So go on and turn off them lights right now, or you can leave them on so I can show you how I do what I do. It's grown folks' business, don't need no kids listening. It's grown folks' business, going down right here. It's grown folks' business. I'm about to hit your kid.
Man.
Perfectly poised for breaking down your walls. Got precipitation dampening your draws. Feeling for love, it got you hot like an oven. Now I'm about to butter your biscuits. God is my witness. I'm about to work that body out like it's physical fitness. Thick like catfish and grits, spicy with me kiss. Ain't a now another that can do it like this. Ain't a now another can do it like this. Baby, talk to me. Tell me what you need. Say talk to me. Yeah. I said talk to me, baby, I'll talk back. Tell me what you want, I can do it like that. I said talk to me, I'll talk back. Tell me what you want, I can do it like that. Oh, give you what you need.
Satisfaction guaranteed.
Talk to me, baby, I'll talk back. Give you what you want.
Man, welcome back. This your boy Reckless Talk with the Reckless Talk podcast, man. We got episode 57 kicking in with R&B Artist King Creole. What's going down, my brother?
Oh man. Bless,
right.
Man.
Let's talk about that, man. That's that little track right there. Yeah.
Man, you know, dude, it's time to bring the grown folk music back, man. You know what I'm saying, dude? Like I respect what the generation has done, but you know, man, I grew up on that old school, just classic. Like as soon as it's turned on, it's a vibe, it's a mood. So I'm like, man, that's what's needed right now. I love doing that type of stuff. So it was just like, man, let's go ahead and let's make it funky.
Yo, facts, big time facts, man. Me growing up in the 90s, man. That's what you got. That you bring back that 90s swag, man. I love it, man. For real. Salute to you on that.
I appreciate it.
Before we get started, man, you got any shout outs you want to give?
Man, dude, first and foremost, man, I gotta give a shout out to all the family from Rap Chat that kind of helped launch and push like King Creole. The first person that I also gotta give a shout out to is an artist out of the Bay called Male. Shout out Male. Because when I was about to hang it up and be like, man, I ain't finna do music no more, she was like, hey, keep grinding, keep pushing, like I released my first EP. I was homeless in my car. If I can do that, what can you do with everything that you have right there? So shout out my lady. She pushed me to keep on grinding with it. And has been like down since day one, 4 flat tires, man. So big respect to that. Man, you know, just the people that's around, they know. Definitely got to give a shout out to my wife, because you know she's the one that supports on the back end through all the stressful, and puts up with me, you know, with the late hours and the grind of just constantly writing like a song hit, and I need to get to the lab with it. You know, definitely, you know, that's the rock right there.
Definitely, hell yeah. We got a few people watching, man. If y'all was in here while we listened to that track, man, tell us what y'all thought about it in the comments. We interact with all guests. We got Josh in the comments. He said that was fire. He said 100 on that one. Man, I got a bunch of shout outs to give, man. First and foremost, let me give a shout out to the band Proverbial Kool-Aid. That's the shirt I got on. I got Damon, amazing dude. We did an amazing interview a few months back. Man, big shout out. Give a big shout out to you, homie, for real. You doing your thing, man. I see you out there for real, man. Big shout out to Low Rock Entertainment, Royal Member with Urban Outfitters, Houston Rocco, PSK 13, OZ the DJ, Rich Alexander, Mac the GOAT, you know what I mean? Big shout out to all my people out here, man, for real. And saying that, man, let's talk about grown folks business, man. How that get started, man? What was the motivation on that?
Man, dude, so like I was saying, dude, man, I grew up with just like music that was saying something, right? And it had like a vibe to it. So I was, you know, doing my thing, beat shopping, and I came across this producer called Ingles, and then it's another guy, Yogic Beats. And they vibes just like really like sit in the pocket. I believe on this one it's Yogic Beats is the one that did the instrument on that. He's a cat out of the UK. I've done a couple other tracks with his engineering back behind it, and just like the vibe. And so, like I said, man, I was just looking for something that was gonna speak to the grown people, man, as to where it's not the foolishness of just like I met you in the club, you know, this is what we about to do, and like nah, like this something like, you know, you got your lady, y'all about to do the date night. I don't know about anybody else. I got kids, so you know, it's like, hey, we got to make sure we get that time with each other. So you know, it's that vibe for like when you know you and your lady is going out and you want to have that mood right. It's something, you know, I did something for the steppers too, because I grew up with the swing out culture out here. So a nice little 2-step vibe. So, you know, you can have it playing at the cookout. So if, you know, the grown folks want to get up and do a little dance or something, man, you know, Unc got his brown in the cup. So, you know, I wanted to make sure that it was providing that type of feel for it, as to where it was just, you know, some feel good music, man. Everybody want to be gangster all the time. I was like, man, you gotta have a little feel good sometime, man. You can't be gangster all the time.
Real shit, right? Facts. Andrea said that song was fire. Josh said, man, you got that unmistakable vibe, man. They showing love over here in the comments. Let's talk about where you from and what was it like growing up in your city.
Yeah, so I'm born and raised Beaumont, Texas, Southeast Texas, man. We're right on the border of Louisiana. Hence the name King Creole. A pop side of the family is deep in Louisiana, and migrated over to Beaumont, which is basically just like the Texas side of Louisiana. So it's still crawfish and gumbo, you know, catfish and grits and all of that.
Yeah.
So the city was small. There's a hood everywhere. I happen to be in just another one of them. Music was always around. Family was like based in music. There's a bunch of like cousins and stuff in the family that are jazz musicians, and you know, I was active in music all the way going through school. So it was just always something that was there. My grandma had the vinyls, so you know, you got to like spin over there and like get in with that. And you know, it kept me out of other things. I was always like active in music, either in band or something, because you know, the neighborhood I grew up in, it was rough. It was a Crip neighborhood. So it was just, you had to have something to keep your focus. If not, the streets was gonna be the focus. And you know, that was just the main push. And then I migrated out here to Houston. That's a home base right now. and just, just fell in love again during COVID with getting back into music. Had a lot of time on my hands. Started messing around with, just different music apps and stuff that was doing competitions. And that's how I got back in, because I also have that competitive side. So I like that, one of the apps I jumped on, that was like, hey, they dropped the instrumental, and it was like, all right, you got to put your Hot 16 on here and then promote that verse. And, they come do the vote, and then, at the end of the day, you got the most votes, you get the bag from it. So that just kind of built my writing skill back up and get me back into like the vibe of doing music. And then, people just like really started vibing with it. And from there on, it was like, all right, let me start pushing and making it serious. But, again, man, it all started with just sitting around from COVID. I'd always had music around, and I was like, hey, I don't have anything else going on. So the pen just kind of came back, and, that's it, man.
Yeah, definitely, man. So you mentioned you since you were young in school, you did some music. A lot of artists try to get their start in the church or the school, whatever. How was yours started school wise?
Yeah, man. So it was, same thing as well. Like, my dad was a minister, so we were always involved in church. So I was in church choir. Then once I got to middle school, started playing trumpet. That was like my introduction into like detailed music stuff. So played that all the way through high school. So I was always involved with music doing that. Had a lot of good like teachers. My senior year in high school, I did choir, and my choir teacher then, she really pushed for me to like focus on my vocal stuff, because at the time, I was just having fun doing regular high school stuff. I wasn't even like nowhere on the radar. I had homeboys that was releasing, doing mixtapes and stuff, selling CDs out the trunk. Shout out CP. But that was just the thing. And then again, once I moved out here, I brought my horn with me. We'd go do jam sessions at my brother's house, because my brother played music too. He played guitar, and then he played trumpet. That was part of the reason I ended up playing trumpet. Then, like I said, we had other cousins that played instruments. So I had another cousin that was a drummer, another one that was a bass. So we would just always, holidays come around, that was how we kicked it. It would be like a little cookout, crawfish boil, gumbo or something, and then somebody's gonna bust out the guitar. We gonna go into cousin Jeff's, man cave, and we finna vibe out, man. We're gonna turn the guitars on and see what happens.
Hell yeah. So at what point in your life, or what age would you say that you realized you had a special talent and music is what you wanted to do?
It kind of peaked, I guess, probably around 18, when I was getting ready to graduate. And like I said, my choir teacher at that time, she was really pushing for me to do solo and ensemble. So I went and did that, and then did an audition, was for a scholarship. Ended up landing the scholarship, but some other stuff happened, so I wasn't able to go to school. But it was always like, this is what I like to do. Anytime I was doing music, I was always happy doing music. It was never like it was a tedious thing or work thing, like even when it was like hard, because our band director that I had, he was like, we did like the Big Ten marching, so it was like Southern and all the HBCU high step and dancing on the field. But he was like really set on us going through the repetition of it and making sure that we were precise and right, but also understanding like the musicality portion of it. So that really kind of fed the other side of me. I was always listening to something at home. Like my brother was like 9 years older than me, so I was listening to all the hip hop and stuff that he was listening to. He had brought. That was the reason I found out about Bob Marley. So, but once like I'd say probably like 18, that's when I was like, man, I really want to do music. But then the roadblock happened for it. So once COVID came around, and I was able to get back into it, that just kind of relit that fire. So then again, man, I don't know. I won some competition. I don't know. Dude, I'm an old head, by the way. But I I guess again, like in like my mid 30s, like 30, 35, 36, was when I was like, this is what I really want to do. This is what I found like my happy place again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, all right, I'm back creating. I like doing this. Like, this is what I'm trying to go sneak off and go do and find a quiet corner just to get this thing out. So, and after that, man, once people really started showing love and was like, hey, it kind of pushing for it. Like I said, my homegirl Male, she was like, hey, man, like you really need to push with it. And that's when it kind of, the light bulb finally like turned on. It's like, hey, this needs to be the focus. And then from then on, that's been it, man. It's been the grinding and just learning along the way.
Yeah, definitely. We got Leo Brown in the comments. He wants to know. He has a question for you, man. He said, "Who are some of your musical aspirations?"
What are some of my musical aspirations, man? It of course as somebody who puts out music, you always want to have that one song that just like that blows up. Like you want to have that song, but really, for me, I like the publishing and writing side. I want to be able to get on just like an amazing writing team as to where, you'd be like, man, you heard that song that such and such put out? Like, yeah, that was me on the pen game. My check is in the mail for it.
That's what's up though. I like that, man. I like that. In saying that, man, what's your creative process like?
So I think each one is a little bit different. It just depends on the vibe that I'm going for. Sometimes I'll just start writing stuff and then see if it'll fit to an instrumental that I find. But other times it's just kind of like I'll just hop on and start beat shopping. I'll chop up with different producers and be like, hey, what you got? What you cooking up? And just kind of listen. And then I don't know. It's once I hear the instrumental, it's like something turns on, and then okay, I can hear the song. I can hear what I can create with it. So I'll sit with the instrumental for however long and just start to kind of flesh out stuff, writing it either on my phone or pen and pad, and just start to work with it until I feel like, all right, I've got something. Sometimes the hook comes in first, or sometimes I just start from the beginning of the song, like, man, I already know where I want to go verse-wise. I hear how the melody's flowing with it, and just kind of build on top of all that. But I mean, it like I said, man, it all depends. There's not like one steady method that I go to. It's just once I hear that sound and I get into that vibe and that zone, it's just the song kind of makes itself, man.
Yeah, man. Leo, we got Leo back in the comments, man. He on a roll today. He said, have you ever thought about artist management or producing?
Actually, the artist management portion, yes. Just because from the nature of how I've come up with putting my music out, like I didn't know there was a whole world of like underground music apps. And once I found that, I was like, there's a lot of like talented people that are on here, and naturally I kind of gravitated towards a lot of these people. I was like, hey, let's do a collab, let's run a cypher, let's do whatever. And then we ended up kind of talking outside of it and then building that relationship as to where, now I'm like, hey, I know somebody that's looking for, a song for like their Tubi movie, or or hey, like here's another contest that's going on. It's not necessarily my vibe, but I think you'd do something with it. And just from what I've done, different artists have also been like, hey, I respect what you do. I like how your sound is put together. Can you help me grow and find my sound and help me develop on writing a song? Because not a lot of people know about song structure. So I've definitely thought about doing like more like the artist development thing, because I do have kind of like that passion for like helping out, because I like seeing other people come up. I don't have time for hating. I like seeing other people like come up. And if you're serious about it and you're not gonna be in your feelings, because I can be extremely blunt sometimes, but it's nothing personal. It's just like, hey, I would rather somebody tell me, like if the song is not coming out right, or if it's not meshing right, rather than just gas me up and be like, yeah, that's fire, and then got me out here looking like, got me out here looking like Boo Boo the Fool or something, man. Like, nah, let me know. I don't need the yes man. I'm not gonna be a yes man for whatever it is. If it's something that needs to work on, I'm trying to give you the guidance for it. So it's definitely on the radar. Like I said, man, it's a few artists that I work with now that just trying to help them, find what they're looking for. So it's on there, man. Production side, I'm gonna lead it to the production deal. That's a whole nother word. You gotta have like that special ear to like hear all the frequencies, and I trust my ear for certain stuff, but man, I know too many people that just have like golden ears. They're like, nah, do you hear this? And they'll tweak something on. I'm like, man, it sounds totally different. So
yeah,
it's a different world.
Man, I appreciate all the participation in the with the audience, man. I love it. That's why I do these live interviews. And saying that, we're gonna go ahead and play one more track. Right on. And y'all can get to feel this vibe, man. Like I tell you about, man, it's a 90s vibe, man. I love it, man. For real. When I like I do every artist, I just scroll and I go from social media website to social media website and look for good music, man. Like you said earlier, we respect, what this past generation done with the music game. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep it real. I'm gonna leave it at that because it was nothing major. Just keep it real. It's saying that, man. This 90s vibe, man. Like growing up with that in that era, man. It's amazing. You got a story to tell. You know what I mean? Like you said, you just get up and want to dance, or chilling with your people, your lady, whatever. You know what I mean? And you bring that vibe, man. So it's an honor to have you on here. It's saying that.
I appreciate it,
man. Let's get it going. Kiss and Tell. Here we go.
Can I be your trample, fingertips upon your waist? Ooh, you got that honey, baby. Can I get a taste? Can't wait to get another taste. Ooh, you carry that vibe. I get lost in your eyes. There's no GPS, but you motivate my drive. Funny feelings like it's love, but I was born to be a player, though. Never knew I win the prize, see you open up that envelope. Forget the Grammys, you got the yammies, that sweet potato. Squeeze between my grip just like it's Play-Doh. Tell me come to bed, I can't say no. It's worth it to work and put my thing down. Flip it and reverse curses. You got me underneath your spell, head over heels. I guess I fell into your well. So wish me, and kiss me, and forget me, nah. Cause I came to work the spot. But leave my love on kiss and tell. Cause in my sacred heart, well. But leave me love, don't kiss and tell. Cause my love, it's not for sale. It's not for sale. I hope you found just what you've been looking for. Cause I know I found just what I've been looking for in you. Turn my gray skies blue. Baby, there's no other like you. Hand to the Bible. Turn my life around so I could grow beside you. You're my revival. So glad that I was listening. My whole world is new now. Shining new and glistening. Right the wrongs, compose the song, renew the bonds. The bones are strong. We found the perfect foundation for building on. I'm trying to give us everything we need and more. I hope you found just what you've been looking for. Cause I know I found just what I've been looking for in you. Turn my gray sky blue. Oh, but leave my love down in my sacred heart.
We got Kiss and Tell by King Creole. Man, that's on fire right there, man. Another one that tells a story to it. Let's talk about how that came about.
Man, so that one right there, it was a good time, and I don't know, in the springtime or whatever. Me and wifey was like in a good space, man. Everything was just connecting and vibing right. So I was like, man, let me do a little something for Bay, and then that's what ended up just coming out, man. And it was like the again, man, the beat was just like, it had like that 70s vibe to it, just like a nice, like smooth sound. And I was like, okay, let's take it, let's do a little throwback to this one, and kind of, do the old school thing with it, man, and bring that new retro sound.
Yeah. I definitely fuck with it for real, man. Man, what would you say has been your biggest achievement so far in your musical career?
Man, biggest achievement would have been for me so far. So April, I did a contest on the Masterpiece Sound Studio cover song contest. It's a studio out in Detroit, Michigan. It is from Sylvia Moore. She was one of the writers that was with Motown. Berry Gordy wrote for Stevie Wonder. So her siblings, they did like a trust and put this contest on as to where you got to pick from songs that she wrote for like Stevie Wonder and all these different Motown artists, and do a completely different cover of it. So I found one. It was a Stevie Wonder song I had never heard of at all, and just kind of put my spin on it, brought it a little bit more up to now, put like a neo soul vibe to it. Think a lot out of 500, I made it to the top 10 for it. So then that was, hey, come to the finals in Detroit. Just got to do the big stage show at Motor City Casino Hotel at the soundboard. So hey, full live house band in the back. The big stage, like the biggest stage I've been on. But then also got a chance to meet with a lot of the different writers from Motown that were still around. A lot of like the Motown like superstars like Smokey Robinson, his first wife was like there. Just all these like legends that I've seen like on the back of like the publishing end of it. Like this is who wrote and like organized it. I actually got to be in the same room with these people, shake hands, talk with them. They got to hear what I do, and we're just like, hey, we love what you're doing. Ultimately in the finals, I placed third in it. So got a nice little bag from that. I appreciate it. Got a nice bag from that as well. Got the ear of Sony on Sony Publishing. So there's some things that trying to work out along there. So God says the same, man. All the other stuff that we was talking about before we went live is going to straighten itself right on out with it and continue to push with it. But man, just amazing opportunity. So the cover song that I did, they're actually going to be, Sony's going to be doing a release of that. They're shopping sync licensing opportunities for it. Just like really, really big things that like I've been working and pushing to get towards, that finally have kind of like manifested themselves and like come to fruition now. So it just goes to show, man, look, keep grinding with it, keep working with it, even when people are like, man, you crazy. Like if you put in the work behind it, man, the right people end up noticing. But it's just an awesome part of the journey. So to be able to stand on that stage with like the other people that won first and second was like just amazing talents. But to be on that stage with Motown greats like looking up, like applauding and giving like that validation, it was definitely one of those moments. Was like, man, like like this is something big.
Oh, fact, real shit. Andrea said, she said that's amazing. And Leo said, Kiss and Tell is the kind of song you go cruising to. Real shit, Leo. I can see myself right now. Put that top down. You know what I mean? Just cruise to it at night. I feel that real shit.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. But now that's what's up, man. Congratulations on that. I know
Thank you.
That must have been major, man. For real.
Man, dude, it was awesome.
That's what's up. You said that was a big stage, a big platform. It's saying that What would you say is your dream venue to play at?
Man, dream place to play at. Man, that's a tough one because again, like, man, I'm really not one that like is like that seeks out like the limelight like portion of it. Like I don't know, a good like House of Blues for me is like, I like that because it gives it like, it's enough size, but it still keeps it down as to where you can enjoy like the music. I feel like when you get into like these massive stadiums and venues and it's all the production and all that, while it's great, it takes away from just being able to like kind of have that that moment with the fans and people that are there to enjoy it. So, if I play a place, Stubbs out in Austin, I think it would be dope to do Stubbs in Austin. But even House of Blues out here in Houston would be like that. That would be like I could live with that.
Nah, I definitely feel that. I'm gonna say one thing, man. Stop being so humble. Stop being so humble, man. Because one day you're gonna be at that one of the venues where it's 50,000, 100,000 people, man. Cause your music needs to be heard. You know what I mean? You have a message that you tell them, man. So stop being so humble, man. For real. The world need to see and hear what you got, man. You're an amazing vocalist, for real.
Man, thank you.
For real, I mean it. For real. Who would you say if you could have a collaboration with? Like, what's your dream collaboration?
Oh man. Dream collaboration. That's that's a tough one right there because I don't know. That would bring up a list for sure. If the stars align and the universe was just like, for sure, Andre 3000, man. Like that is one of my. Like I've followed him since like I was a kid. I remember the first time my brother played the very first Outkast album, and I was just like, "Who is this?" Like I was in there, and from like every other album that they dropped, like I was at Sam Goody, I was at whatever CD shop. This was when back you had to go and buy it. So I was at the mall. I was getting the single, So that was my whole thing, and then just kind of like followed like his journey and just like even his writing process, which some of I guess I kind of like try and mimic along with that usually when I'm putting things together, just because I like how he structures a lot of his verses and bars, and the fact that with Speaker Box Love Below, like he did a whole album that was like way ahead of like the time that it dropped, but it was like, man, Love Below like stayed in my CD player for months and months, just like studying back and forth, like, okay, he's doing bars, but then he's like singing with it, but he's doing like funk, and he's also just like everything behind it. If I could work with Andre, that would be like the ultimate collab, man.
Yeah, I think that'd be a fire one. When I first heard you, that's kind of that's the vibe I got. You know what I mean? That Andre 3000 vibe. Earlier, a minute ago, you mentioned that you like that smaller crowd, that the House of Blues would be cool.
Yeah.
So I guess this is what Leo's question is. Leo said you like that intimate setting. If you were not in the music business, what other career would you have possibly pursued?
So before all of this, I did culinary. So that's how I ended up not going into music. I was already registered to go to school for culinary arts out here in Houston. And then they called me. My truck was already packed. I was like, hey, we got a scholarship. I was like, I'm already like lined up to go. Like I'm literally, I'm finna hit the road now. But yeah, man, restaurant business was where I was at. I was a chef and like restaurant manager for like 13 years before this. Like that's the other thing. I can get down to the kitchen, man.
Yeah. Hell yeah. What would you, if you had anything to say to your fans, what would it be?
If I had anything to say to fans is stream the songs. share the music with everybody. But nah, man, it's just, thank you. thank you for listening. Really, just that's it. Thank you for listening to what I had to say in that moment, and feeling it was like worth your time. Because a lot of times, man, you know, you hear songs and it's like, man, that's not worth my time. Like, it's not worth I can't get those 3 minutes back. I want to make sure whatever 3 minutes, 2.5 minutes, however long of the song is, I want to make sure that if you're gonna take your time out to like listen to it, I want you to be able to feel something from music. And I'm never that far away, so you can DM, you know, hit me up. Long as they ain't like, you know, no weird stuff, but you can hit me up, man. I'll talk to the fans, man. We all just people trying to make it.
Yeah, definitely, man. Hell yeah. And man, before we end this interview, man, one more question. What advice would you give to the next generation, you know, entrepreneurs, artists, you know, what would trying to do their thing and pursue their dreams? What would you give them? What would you say to them?
Man, don't let anybody tell you that you can't do it. Don't let anybody tell you you're too old, you're too young to do it, you don't have the right resources to it. Because a lot of times you get a lot of people, because they can't do it, they want to beat you down and say that you can't, or that they wouldn't necessarily have the confidence to do it at that age, or step out and be in front of people like that. Just because they wouldn't do it doesn't mean that you should stop. If that's what is in you, and you can find a way to dedicate that and, you know, actually make it work for you, that's the other thing. Because I mean, you know, you gotta eat, you still gotta eat. But if you can find a way to make that work for you, and that is truly what your passion and desire is, keep on pushing, man. Don't let nobody tell you that nah, you can't do that, you too, like I say, you too old, you too young, you too whatever. If that's what you set out to do, prove them wrong, man. Prove them wrong.
Facts. Big time facts. I was gonna go ahead and end this interview, but I can't. I was trying to laugh while you was answering my question, because I'm over here reading Leo's next question for you. We're gonna end this interview on Leo's question. Leo, you're amazing, man, for real. Leo wants to know, how did you get your stage name? He mentioned that earlier, Leo. Being from Beaumont, you know what I mean, close to Louisiana, the whole Creole thing. But he also wants to know, what is your favorite ice cream?
What's my favorite? Yo, I think that's probably the most unexpected question that I've ever.
Yo, real shit. That's why I'm trying to laugh while you was answering.
Yeah. So, man, yeah. So the stage name, that's in honor of my family heritage from out of Louisiana. So it's Creole background out of Louisiana, migrated over to Texas. That's where the stage name came from. We all royalty. We all come from kings and queens. So on that, take that and push with it. My favorite ice cream flavor right now is actually, so I don't know where you located, but in Texas we have Bluebell ice cream. So I don't know if you're familiar with Bluebell ice cream.
Yeah, Leo's in Houston.
Okay, the Bluebell ice cream, Dr. Pepper float one, that one right there, that one is going stupid right now. Like that's the joint right there. The Dr. Pepper Bluebell float ice cream is off the chain.
That shit is good though. Thanks. Oh man, it's saying that, man. This was an amazing interview. I appreciate you coming through, man. Man, you got something special, man. Keep pushing with it, man. We'll definitely be in touch. I wish you success beyond your imagination, brother. For real. Everybody watching, I appreciate y'all watching. Man, I want to give a big shout out to all my supporters, man. Everyone that donated to the podcast, man. Y'all been a major blessing, man. We've been growing, and we are 5 months in. We are 57 episodes complete. You know what I mean? We ride it, man. We just getting started, for real. It's saying that episode 57, kicking it with R&B artist King Creole. We are done. We out of here. H-Town.